Hey everyone, and welcome back to the X-Ring. So we are on our third day in Spain in Cadiz, and wanted to just kind of update you guys on how everything went down here. Sergio, what were your thoughts on this section of the trip, the days in Cadiz? We've been here, what, 3 days?
3 days. The first 2 days were kind of rough.
Yeah.
But it's...
You want to tell them why that was?
Man, we had the runs.
Yeah.
The Middle Eastern crud.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Now, I had already anticipated that, so I did order some Cipro from the doctor, had that prescribed, so I had that on standby. You can usually ask for that if you're going to travel over the Middle East. You'll get like 6 pills, and you just start that antibiotic regimen, and it'll knock it right out. Sergio, on the other hand, had to go to a pharmacy, was able to pick some other stuff up here, but as far as Spain, it was an okay trip. What we did is we left Paris, flew into Sevilla, rented a car, and then drove from Sevilla to Cadiz. That took about an hour and 45 minutes or so. Cadiz is a beautiful place. You have the Cadiz Cathedral, which has a lot of history. And one of the things you guys need to realize about this section of Spain is this is where Christopher Columbus sailed out to find the New World, to find the United States. And so we're actually Santa Maria is just down here, and you guys know that was one of the boats. You have the Nina Pinta and the Santa Maria. We're not having a history lesson here, but one of the reasons we wanted to come is because it is so rich in history. That Cadiz Cathedral dates back to the 3rd and 4th AD time period, and so you were able to really see some cool museums and some amphitheaters that were all original. Now, as far as the driving, you're going to drive on the right side. It is not hectic or crazy like Cairo. You're going to go through more roundabouts than you've ever seen in your entire life. I mean, within a mile stretch, you'll probably go through 4 or 5, unless you're on the Autovia, the freeway. Sergio, you want to talk about the food?
The food here sucks. I mean, it's not the best. But a little side note on that is, it's one thing to be aware of, is grocery stores. Grocery stores are not like the U.S. You're going to be limited on what you have. And if you do get sick like we did, they're not going to have like medicine inside of a grocery store. You're going to have to go to a pharmacy.
Yeah.
And then also the times. Everybody closes here at, I believe it was 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but they were actually closed up until like 1.
Yep.
So if you missed that early morning breakfast, you weren't getting anything till about 1 o'clock except for beer. And that was even in the downtown and the main areas. Yep. And then it's like they shut down. They stay open for a little bit. And the ones that are open, they're open from like 1 to 4, and then they shut down again. And if you're on a like plant-based diet like I am, good luck. You're going to have a hard time finding anything down here. And the food was also like the food that I noticed that you got. I mean, you turned away like 2 or 3 plates. You didn't even eat them.
Yep.
We still paid for them and all, but they were just very, very greasy, oily, heavy. And so just be aware of that. Now, we did go to Gibraltar, and that was probably the highlight of coming down to this way. However, with that being said, Gibraltar was worth seeing, but it was a headache. Okay, so it is about another hour and 45 minutes drive time from Cadiz. And while there is a lot of history there, and I do have some videos of, the tunnel system and everything else. I mean, that thing's been involved, what was it? 13 major wars, since like the 1400s, and that's always been a
area of conflict.
Yeah, with Britain, with Spain, back and forth. Spain still feels like that they should own it. It was really cool. We did a tour down there. We did do a private tour again. We didn't want to be in a big bus or a big taxi sharing it. It is impossible to drive down there. It's going to take you about 30, 45 minutes to go through customs to leave Spain to go into the UK, because that is UK territory. Once you get there, if you have cell phone service there, which your GPS is going to be controlled by that, it is just a mess. Just everything's tight. There's no parking or anything, and then you're trying to get this tour guide. We ended up parking in an area that looked like it was designed for the parking, for the tours. We ended up getting a parking ticket, which ended up being about 85 euros, or equivalent to $100 and something US. As far as Gibraltar getting out, that took over an hour and 20 minutes maybe of just sitting in line. They just weave you through traffic back and forth. And so while this is a really, really cool area, it seems more like a vacation area for the locals, especially the beaches and all that. This is more of a family. Yeah, it's kind of like a family beach, which that's no big deal, but you know, having to deal with the food, having to deal with the parking, everything's going to be parallel parked. I mean, we're staying in a really nice condo, but the parking spots are always filled with everybody trying to get down to the beach, so we're having to park, you know, a couple blocks away just to be able to get to our vehicle. And so you do have that to deal with like you will in most of Europe with the parking. Anything else you want to add? There was something else I was going to mention.
No, it's pretty much, I mean...
the topless beaches. They actually have topless beaches. We didn't even know about that. And we're sitting there at one of the little tiki bars and it's like, Sergio, check that out. And so, yeah, it's just, you know, to them, that's not that big of a deal. But sorry, you were going to say?
No, the evenings here are pretty nice. There, you know, the weather changes. It is actually nice, and the water's cold because it's on this part of Spain.
This is the Atlantic.
On the Atlantic.
Yeah. Clothing, washing the clothes. So while they will have dryer or washers at most of your little condos and places like that, you're not going to have dryers. Everything's going to have to be air dried with a line or something like that, or a rack. So just be aware of that. And you know, this one didn't come outfitted with any soap. It didn't come with any detergent. I mean, nothing. It's not like a normal Airbnb type place that you would go to thinking they'd have everything there. I mean, no shampoo or anything. So I'm going to give you guys some of the footage from along the trip. And here we go. All right, so we left at midnight last night. And because of delayed flights and everything else, it is 5 o'clock the following day. And we have finally arrived in Sevilla, Spain. It is like 105.
100 degrees.
Yeah, it's over 100 degrees. It feels just like Cairo. But we are going to head out to the coast to Cadiz. So we're going to go check it out.
Not Cadiz.
It's been tiring. Over 2 hours later, trying to get this rental car that we already had reserved that they can't find the reservation for. All right, doing the Audi. Might as well for all that trouble. This Audi or that Audi?
This Audi.
Now, ironically, getting into this area, it looks a lot like Texas. It's amazing how much it looks like Texas, except when you get into the towns. And the town has this little local flair, like something you'd actually see in Europe, which we are in Europe, but just a lot of history, very clean, unlike where we left Cairo. Just keep going straight. You know, this actually reminds me of going to Gibraltar, British Virgin Islands. That's exactly what it looks like. On the left would actually be the bay, which it's over there, but very similar setup, especially with the buildings, the height, the architecture. All right, so just got into Sevilla. This is the place we rented. It's got an unbelievable view. Just remember, this is Cadiz. Got the little sunroom here with a full panoramic. Yeah, this is nice. Well, after being up for 40 hours, we got some much needed sleep. We're in the town of Cadiz. I'm gonna head down to the beach here and check it out. So there's the cathedral, and turning 180 degrees. Beautiful coastline. Well, unbeknownst to us, I think going to the Rock of Gibraltar is actually in a different country. So we are in line here, and I guess we're getting ready to go through customs. The only problem is I don't think Sergio has his passport. Left it in the room, but I just happen to have my bag. So we'll see what this is all about. Well, that didn't work out. You have to have a passport to go visit Gibraltar. So, well, it's supposed to be a bunch of caves and stuff. It's supposed to be pretty cool, but how's it? Hour and a half. All right, so decided to get into the water here. You got the Rock of Gibraltar there. The water is extremely clear, but it is cold. Ice cold, actually. By the way, since the channel is all about learning, ground floor is always 0 or ground 0. Unlike the US where 1 is the first floor. All right, so we are actually headed to Cadiz, to the cathedral. It's supposed to have a lot of history behind it. I will tell you that leaving the Middle East, leaving Cairo, our driver did want to stop and give us a taste of like the local tea and coffee. And Sergio and I both got, what do you want to call it? Stomach bug?
Yep, the runs.
Yeah, the runs. So I had already anticipated that, so I was able to get some Superfluxin prescribed to me, Cipro, and so that did seem to help me. Unfortunately,
stay on CA35. Follow signs for California 36, Cadiz, sir.
All right. Unfortunately for Sergio, about all you could get was the Modi Medi from the pharmacy. So been dealing with that. Just been kind of resting in Rota, Spain, and so we'll see what this is like.
California 35.
We will get you some pictures. So just wanting to keep you guys updated. Here we go. Of course, everybody rides scooters. The scooter business is booming here. I can see why, especially with the narrow streets. It's crazy how old some of this stuff is. Gonna go down there and perform for us. All right, so this is 2 days later. We have our passports. We're gonna try to get into Gibraltar. I do want to show you the traffic because it runs alongside the airport, and you're gonna have to wait a minimum of about 20 minutes in line just to get through customs or get through the passport check. So let's check it out. So be prepared to do about 15 or 20 minutes of this. And it's just gonna be, yeah, maybe 30. It says 12, but I think it's longer. All right, so it took us 15 minutes to get up to this point. We are now going to the border crossing. So you're gonna wanna definitely stay in the left lane and go over to where it says nothing to declare. If you have nothing to declare. So it's crazy because once you cross that border, you've got to get checked out again because you're in British territory. At least they speak English. And it is a very confusing traffic circle all the way around. It's a very populated area, and the airport is on the other side as well. Now guys, this is really, really beautiful, especially with those cliffs. I can't tell you how tall they are, but this land has been fought over for thousands of years, just because it does control the Strait of Gibraltar. So let's go learn more about the history. Tell me this isn't crazy. I will tell you, this is the most complex parking facility I've ever seen in my life. But I found out where all of the Toyotas and Land Rovers are. I guess they keep them in storage back here. Look at all those, brand new. All right, so there's a freaking sports complex at the top of this mountain. For whatever reason, I guess they do track and field events and soccer. I wonder how many soccer balls they lose over that wall. Now guys, this has been a cluster. It's like Sergio and I are the only two at the top of this crazy complex. Probably went the wrong way, but we keep following these signs to the Gibraltar Nature Reserve. So we'll see what happens. It's not getting any easier, that's for dang sure. All right, so this absolutely sucks. Good thing is, this park doesn't close till like 10 o'clock. So we're good. All right, so this will save someone some heartache. Don't think you can come up to the nature preserve unless you plan on walking about 4.5 hours or so. That's how long it will take you to hike the entire trail system. And so you don't want to drive up to the top here with your personal vehicle. What you want to do is go into the city and take one of the taxi tours, and then they can drive you through. So that's going to be the way to do it. So saving you some time and effort there. Another thing is the lights go from red to yellow to green. So it's like stop, get ready, and then go. It's pretty cool. And then here we go. Everybody starts rolling when it turns yellow. All right, so we said heck with it. We don't want to share a tour bus with a bunch of other people, so we negotiated a price. We have the taxi tour our own, and basically we're back where we started at that Pillar of Hercules, but now we have the taxi that can take us to the different locations. So, all right, first up is St. Michael's Cave. This is a large cave system. We're actually going to visit the World War II tunnels. There's over 52 or 58 kilometers of tunnels within the actual mountain itself. I mean, tunnels that actually go from the Ministry of Defense down there. They go all the way through the island to the other side to load up submarines. You're also going to see the Macau monkeys here. You better get your butt down from there. You better get off that roof. Look at them. Look at them. Thieves. What y'all looking for? What are you looking for over there? Get your butt out of the way. Okay. What's up, bud? What's up? So this is St. Michael's Caves. It's supposed to be pretty awesome inside. I don't know how much talking I'll be able to do, but so now we're going to O'Hara's Battery, and typically when you have a big tour bus of people, they don't do this. So we're going to go to the very highest spot of Gibraltar. All right, thank you. Engine room, 1898.
This place has been closed for quite a long time. There have been some refurbishment. All this is how everything used to work in the olden days.
This was used for just power?
No, this was the generators to power all this battery.
Got it.
And this wasn't used just for the Second World War. It was used for the Second World War, but it was more used a little bit earlier with the Battle of Spain.
Looks so primitive.
When they used to do the tunnels, they were very shocked people.
Like the pyramids.
Now the generation of the taller.
So these are all the charges?
Charges. This was what they used to put the round through there.
Mm-hmm.
There's one inside.
And then load it?
Load it.
Shoot it up.
Firing up rounds already?
No. 9.2 inch shell.
9.2.
Weight of the shell was 380 pounds.
And this gun was accurate. Used to hit the point bang on. The last time it was fired, it was in the 70s. It was 1972.
This is one of the shells.
And all this is the Mediterranean Sea. All the coastal salt.
Mediterranean.
All the Mediterranean. Okay.
Behind the gun.
Where the clouds are at.
The real problem is that we're not allowed to go up. They got the bullet up. The movement, yeah. This was the actual movement of the gun. To move around. And an excellent job, man. Really good job. You say here.
All right, now he called this one the bitch monkey because it will try its best to open car doors and everything just to get food. Yeah, there it is. These are British military soldiers doing their ruck. Great Siege tunnels. And this is part of the 57 kilometers of tunnels. Check that out, almost 180 degrees of firing position. Now this one at the end here was cut solely for ventilation, just so that they could get the air moving, so that the cannons wouldn't smoke everything out within the tunnels. So this is the first actual Diet Coke I've had since I got here, because all they have is Coke Light and Coke Zero, and Coke Light is horrible. It tastes like Coke Zero, so if you're in Gibraltar and it's the UK, stock up. All right, so we have landed in France, in Paris, and what we're gonna do is Sergio is gonna drop me off at the bullet train. I'm gonna head over to Zurich, and Sergio is gonna head over to Normandy. Right, first time on a bullet train. Been on a bunch of trains, but never a bullet train. It's supposed to do like 320 kilometers an hour. All right, ain't nobody to get here, but I'm here. Here at the Zurich train station, just landed, and this place is packed. Now I gotta find a rental car. It was actually a really smooth ride. We're gonna spend a couple days there, and then we have a meeting with Carl at B&T with Brugger and Tomet. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy that. It's gonna be a private meeting with him, maybe talking about the newest, latest, greatest B&T things that are coming out. And I hope you guys enjoyed it so far. I appreciate each and every one of you that's been watching the series so far. Hopefully you're learning something, and we will talk to you soon. Have a good one.